Let's f***ing go.
Oh, what is up? It is the Thursday edition of LFG. We decided to do the show on Thursday today as opposed to doing it on Friday. And what a finish we've got going on right now in the Olympics. If you're listening to this, you probably have access to watching the game, so you don't need me. If you're watching here in the United States, it's on the USA Network. 10.9 seconds to go. France with a 71-68 lead over Germany. France, of course, the prohibitive, I don't know, favorite in terms of betting, but certainly the favorite in the eyes of the people that are in attendance as this game is being played in France. Winner of this game moves on to play for gold, likely against the United States. USA will play against Serbia coming up following the conclusion of this one. However, can't take anything for granted. Serbia has Nikola Jokic at their disposal, and the U.S. is going to have their hands full. Probably will be the biggest test that they have seen so far in the Olympics. But here we go with this one. Germany about to inbound the basketball in the front court with 10.9 to go, trailing by 3. You wonder if France will foul here to send Germany to the free throw line so that they can't take a 3. And Wagner to inbound the basketball. Wembanyama on him, gets it into Schroeder, and Schroeder is quickly fouled. So Dennis Schroeder gets fouled without an opportunity to take a 3. Just 1.5 seconds went off the clock, 9.4 remaining. France, I don't believe, since I'm not actually at the game and, joining on this play-by-play of this last second, I don't know if France had a foul to give. I don't believe they did. And so they are sending Schroeder to the free throw line. So Schroeder with a pair here. Still 9.4 remaining, so not quite miss one intentionally territory yet, but he misses one anyway. Schroeder misses the first off the left side of the rim. So it remains 71-68 with 9.4 remaining. And now you wonder what the strategy is here for Germany, whether you might miss intentionally and crash the glass. And Schroeder, a couple of dribbles, puts it up, and he makes the second to make it 71-69, 9.4 remaining. France, don't know if they had any timeouts remaining, but they're not taking one. Substitutions here for both teams. They get Rudy Gobert back on the floor. No, Gobert, sorry, that was a tight shot. He's still standing on the bench. Nope, now he is going to get up. They're going to put Rudy Gobert out onto the floor here for defense, I would imagine. Not sure why they want to put Rudy on the floor since it's France's basketball, and Rudy probably not going to try to touch the ball. In any case, Nick Batum will inbound from the backcourt. And Batum able to get it in and then quickly fouled in the backcourt. Not really sure who the guard is for France that was fouled there. Evan Fournier is one of the guards in the backcourt. It is their other guard, who I do not recognize, who was fouled, and 7.4 remaining now. So just 2 seconds went off the clock, and it remains a 2-point game. But France a chance to make it a 2-possession game here. And the crowd now in France, which just moments ago looked very, very tense and nervous, suddenly showing some enthusiasm as they can sense this one close to being in the win column. If this guy for France can go to the line and knock down these two free throws. Isaiah Cordonier, the shooting guard, going to the line. And Cordonier, first free throw is up and good. So 3-point game. And this next one is huge. If he makes this next one, it's a 2-possession game. And the mountain will be very steep to climb for Germany. If he misses this one, you wonder if, again, France might quickly try to foul Germany before they could get a 3 away. Second free throw is up, and it is good. So 2-possession game now. Schroeder will take the basketball, gets it inbound quickly to Bonga, back to Schroeder across midcourt. Just 4 seconds. He'll fire from just inside midcourt. It's no good. France with the rebound, and that's going to do it. France, in front of their home crowd in Paris, has held on to win its semifinal matchup against Germany, and the French will play the winner of the United States and Serbia for gold in Paris. How's that? How's that? You like that?
That's good. That's good. See, now Bisa wasn't she didn't get the chance to experience the awesome play-by-play that is Dave Benz for 10 straight years on a daily basis. I did. So I'm familiar with that silky smooth voice, but she is not from a standpoint of broadcasting anyway. So there you go.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, there's going to be a day in the not so distant future that I'm doing that again regularly. And
Exactly.
one of these days there's going to be one of these days there will be another opening in the NBA. And we'll see how that goes. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Good to be back on with you both. And Coz may check in at some point today. We're going to do a 90-minute show again today. Coz, his schedule the next couple of weeks is kind of crazy, so it's all over the place. So he's just kind of like, hey, do your thing, and we'll see when I can fit it in. And then additionally, Drew Goldfarb will join us today. He's coming up at the top of the hour, our sports betting analyst. We're going to get into the mailbag today. Bisa's going to have her trivia again today. So a fully stacked show. And we've got not only the Olympics to talk about, but we've got the NFL to talk about. We also have a streak in Major League Baseball that I don't know if you want to say that it's mercifully come to an end or disappointingly come to an end. We'll get into all that. But the biggest streak going on, Matt Fowler, is actually an Olympic streak taking place right now that is 59 and counting for the USA women's basketball team. They have won 59 consecutive games in Olympic play and no signs of slowing down. And I think it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to win the gold medal in Paris. The United States men's team hoping that they can do the same. And they'll be playing, as I mentioned, coming up at the noon Pacific, 3 Eastern against Serbia. But, Matt, where are you ranking this U.S. women's 59-game win streak?
Well, it's on the board somewhere. And I say that because it can't be too high. It
can't be too high.
No.
What are you really? Wow,
No,
you're a hater, man. You are a hater.
I am not a hater. I am a realist, and I'll tell you why. With all these, now, I will be very truthful here. I haven't paid attention to the women's team in terms of I haven't watched them religiously. But I was waiting for that. Exactly. There you go. Thank you, Carolyn Peck. I haven't paid attention to them religiously, but we all know that the United States is really good at basketball. Men's, women's, it doesn't matter, especially against international competition, right?
Well,
would that be a fair statement?
But I think winning 59 straight of anything is
Yeah, no, it's good, but I mean,
unless you're playing keep away with an infant, I think 59 straight of anything is tough to do.
No, I'm not saying it's not tough to do. I'm saying there's a bunch of other streaks that are a lot more tougher. Lakers winning 33 in a row in the 1970s, the John Wooden streak at UCLA, Joe DiMaggio's 56-game hitting streak. I mean, there's 3 right there.
Yeah, but okay, you got to take Joe DiMaggio out of it because we're talking about team streaks. And the Joe DiMaggio 56-game hitting streak may be the most unbreakable record of all time. Although I think the most unbreakable record of all time is probably going to be the record that is still going with LeBron James double-digit scoring games in the NBA, which I don't even know what that's up to, but it's ridiculous, and I don't know that anybody's ever going to break that. That may be a better individual streak than the DiMaggio streak. That's an interesting conversation. But for team streaks, 59 in a row, you're not impressed. That's really
well. Yeah, I mean it's just because it's international competition and the U.S. wipes the floor, whether it be men or women, they wipe the floor with their competition in basketball.
I didn't mean for that to be that loud. Sorry. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
They wipe the floor with the competition. Yeah, but
they do.
Okay, but even the U.S. men's team, as good as they are, they've stubbed their toe, Matt. All it takes is one off night, and all it takes is one off night to lose a game. And they have not lost a game, not even close. They pounded, I believe it was Nigeria yesterday, to get to their semifinal round. But
yeah, I wonder how many other teams have done that.
Bisa, are you impressed or not impressed by 59 straight wins?
I mean, I don't know if I could do anything 59 times. So, yeah, I'm very impressed.
Yeah. Matt, you're just a hater, man.
I am not a hater. I'm a realist, man.
I think you're just. I think you're just angry because Caitlin Clark's not on the team, and if she was on the team, you'd have a
I
completely
am
different
angry
tone.
that Caitlin Clark isn't on the team. Damn it! But, it's not like especially with given with what we just said, with obviously 59 straight. It's not like the U.S. is gonna lose and not win the gold medal. So this whole keep Caitlin Clark off the team because of she didn't earn it. Shut up.
The point is for them to win a gold medal, and they're going to do that more than likely. So
exactly.
So I don't think they made a mistake. Caitlin Clark can have her time. I don't think they made a mistake.
Do you think if they put her on that it would have been a mistake? Do you think if they put her on that they wouldn't win the gold medal?
I don't think that I don't think she earned a right to be on the team. I don't think she earned a right to be on the team.
And who else did is what's her name on there is who is it Lisa Leslie is the one that's still there that she's been in for a while?
Diana Taurasi, you mean?
Or sorry, yeah, Diana Taurasi. Yeah, she's still there. Did she earn a spot on the team? Like statistically?
Yes.
Statistically?
She's earned a spot on the team with her career achievements.
No. Statistically, I don't care.
Do you think Caitlin Clark earned her spot on the team statistically?
I think that based on what she's doing in the WNBA right now, yes.
Okay, but she didn't have enough body of work when they were selecting the team.
Overrated.
By the way, she decided to thumb her nose at going to the Olympic trials. Remember, she got invited to go to the Olympic trials, but instead she chose to go play in the Final Four. So that's on her. That's on her to choose the Final Four over the Olympic trials.
Let's check the Nielsen ratings between the Olympic trials and the NCAA Women's Final Four with Caitlin Clark involved.
Just for clarity, I am being facetious about that.
Yes,
of course she went to the Final Four. I will tell you, Matt. I know you said you wanted to talk about the most impressive Olympic thing that you've seen so far. And Coase, if he checks in, we'll get more into the Olympic thing real quick. I didn't anticipate us jumping into Olympics to start the show, but with the end of that game, it kind of put us there. But, man, did you guys happen to see, as the women's water polo team right now is playing Australia in the semifinals of women's water polo, this is the same matchup that was in the men's bracket yesterday in the quarterfinals. And did you guys happen to see the Australia-USA men's water polo quarterfinal matchup? Did anybody see that?
I did not, no.
Okay, well, you guys both get a failing grade for that because it may have been one of the best games of the entire Olympics yesterday, and I'm not being facetious. I will admit that I didn't have it on my radar to watch it. I happened to be in front of a TV to catch it. So that's full disclosure. But I was traveling yesterday from Fort Wayne, Indiana, back to San Francisco. I was in Fort Wayne on what is today? Thursday. I was in Fort Wayne on Tuesday driving monster trucks at the Monster Truck Hall of Fame, the International Monster Truck Hall of Fame. I actually got to drive a monster truck, which will be coming up in an episode of Amazing American Museums in the not too distant future. But on the way back, I had a long layover in Minneapolis, and I was in the Delta Sky Club, and they had the water polo on, and so I started watching it just before halftime. And the United States, they were trailing the game at 1.62 against Australia. The U.S. went on a 4-0 run between the end of the second quarter and mid-fourth quarter to tie it at 6. And then, or actually, I take that back. They went ahead 6-5. They were trailing 5-2. They went ahead 6-5. Australia came back with like 90 seconds to go. The U.S. was up 6-5 with 90 seconds to go. Australia came back and scored 2 straight goals to make it 7-6. And then the U.S. got a goal with about 10 seconds remaining to tie it at 7. And it went into a shootout, and the United States beat Australia in a shootout to go to the semifinals. And it was awesome. It was awesome, especially since my son is playing water polo on his high school team, so I'm kind of dialed into it. But it was great. By the way, USA now, I didn't see it, but the USA has gone up 1-0 over the Aussies here in the semifinal, midway through the first quarter of the women's water polo matchup.
See that? You know what? I will give you applause for that one, because I do not follow the water polo. I mean, I will say this. Michael Phelps, Beijing, that was different. I followed that for sure, but it's just, for me, it's just difficult to get into these sports that aren't really paid attention to year round. And I understand swimming's a big one and water polo is a big one. I have lots of friends that have been in those sports, but it's just hard to get into for me. Now, the other thing, Bisa,
So what sport have you gotten into? Did you watch any of the track and field? Did you watch our guy Noah Lyles?
I did watch the. Is that what you were talking about yesterday? The track and field, the surprise yesterday with.
No, I believe that was the 400. I'm talking about Noah Lyles. I only saw him actually run the 100. By the way, the female sprinter for the U.S. who won the 200. She just kicked some butt, and I should know her name. But I mean, the track and field was great, and Noah Lyles, that finish was 5/1000ths of a second. 5/1000ths of a second decided the finish in the 100-meter, which was unbelievable. 5/1000ths of a second is faster than I mean, you can't blink that fast.
Well, that's when you don't wash you shouldn't wash your face, because then if you have a pimple on your nose, then you win, right? Is that how that works?
Okay, so the other thing is, do you know? Okay, here's a little trivia for you two. I will ask both of you. Do you guys know what part of the body constitutes crossing the finish line in a sprint?
That's a rule? There's a rule of that?
There is a rule.
Oh man, I need to brush up on this stuff. I don't know. I would think like your forearm, maybe, because you're running. I would think.
I'm looking for my buzzer. There we go. I found it. The forearm is close, but not the right answer. Bisa, do you have a guess?
I was thinking the nose, because I feel like I've seen those photo finishes, and they split it down, and if someone has a longer nose, it counted.
They won by a nose. That only works, I think, in horse racing. No, the correct answer is, and I did not know this until the finish of that race, but the head, the hands, and the feet, and the arms and the legs, they don't count. The body part that counts, that constitutes the finish of a sprint race, and maybe also distance races, I don't know. I would imagine it probably applies to that as well, although you're not getting as many photo finishes in a distance race. I'm sure it has happened, but not as commonly. It is actually the torso. It is the torso. When the torso cross, and it is kind of like the end zone in an NFL game. It is, crossing the plane, but when your torso crosses the plane, that is when you have finished the race. So the feet don't count, the hands don't count, the nose doesn't count, the head doesn't count. It is the torso. And if you look back at the photos of the finish of the race, the torso was the thing. By the way, the guy who called, Paul Sunderland, I believe is his name, and I apologize if I'm not getting that right, but the track and field announcer for NBC for the Olympics, he called the Jamaican sprinter as having won the race and gave him the gold in real time. And then he caught a lot of slack for it on social media, the fact that he had called a winner. And having announced events and having it be 5/1000ths of a second off, I'm not going to give that guy any grief whatsoever. He called what he thought his eyes saw, and I would rather have somebody call it and trust their own instincts and give a good call, and then have to come back and be like, wow, another look at it, and actually by 5/1000ths of a second, it's Lyles that beat him. there's no shame in that, right? It's
No.
not like he completely botched the call.
Well,
You don't want an announcer that's going to be indecisive and be like, and the finish. We're gonna have to wait to see who won that one. You don't want
well, you
that.
know, you know what, Dave? You bring up a good point, and actually, it made me think of in real time somebody that did a really great job of that in it was the Super Bowl, the 2016 Super Bowl where Tom Brady came back 28-3. Kevin Harlan on the call for the Super Bowl when who was it? White, I think, scored the touchdown in overtime. And Kevin Harlan had to wait, but you're on radio, so you can't just have dead air. So he said, it is a touchdown. He had to wait until they signaled. So that's what you can do with that. But yeah, how many times do we see, maybe in the NFL where an announcer makes a call, oh, touchdown, and then they go, oh wait, we might have to review this, and of course the announcers don't get flack for that.
Well,
no,
and that's the thing. Listen, you always need to make the call, right? And you can't be like, was that a 2 or 3? Like, you if for no other reason than for posterity, right? Like, I don't know why this is coming into my head, but let's just think about that Ray Allen 3 against the San Antonio Spurs back in the day, right? If
exactly,
for some reason, Mike Breen had not been sure if he had stepped on the line or was stepping out of bounds and had called it like with there being a question, then
exactly.
for all time that call is botched, right?
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So you'd rather have the call be announced definitively, and then 10 seconds later be like, "Whoa, they're taking a look at this." That's a much better way to do. By the way, speaking of the great Kevin Harlan, I have audio of that call that you're talking about, Matt.
Run on the field, some guy with a bra, and now he's not being chased. He's running down the middle of the 40, arms in the air in a victory salute. He's pulling down his pants. Put up your pants, my man. Pull up those pants. He's being chased to the 30. He breaks a tackle from a security guard. The 20, down the middle of the 10, the 5. He slides at the 1, and they converge on him at the goal line. Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Was that the call you were talking about? I think that might have been different.
That was a little bit different, although Kevin Harlan is a national treasure. He's known for this. But one of the things, by the way, about that call that just entered my mind, because when you hear a great call like that, you think about things. Why did the guy slide at the 1? Why did he slide it? Why didn't he go into the end zone?
No, how about I didn't see it, but I'd love to see the video of that because it seems to me like maybe the security, they weren't going to let him score. It was a great goal line stand.
It was a great defensive play.
Yeah, they were not letting him get into the end zone. So there you go. So Kevin Harlan's awesome. But yeah, you got to call it. And going back to that race, that was amazing. So, but Matt, so what has stood out to you for the Olympics? Bisa, you have a say in this as well. Have you been watching a lot of the Olympics? Let's start with Bisa. Let's get I need a little more Bisa in my life. Bisa, have you been dialed in? Have you been watching any of the Olympics?
Yes, and one of the big highlights for me, my country, Dominica, we got our first gold medal. Thanks to the LFG. It was the triple jump women's triple jump.
And did she win a medal or did she win a gold?
Gold. She won the gold medal. It's our first, as a country, our first gold medal.
Really? Ever in the history of the country?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So that's your lineage. That's where your family line comes from.
My father's side is from Dominica, so it's the Commonwealth of Dominica.
Where is Dominica?
It's in that same chain of islands, but people think we're the Dominican Republic, even though we're both called Dominicans or
Right.
It's just a different way to inflect your
So
voice.
is it by the Dominican Republic or is it nowhere near the Dominican Republic?
No, it's further down. It's further down. Like it's a few islands in between.
It's basically part of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Okay. I need to go to Dominica.
Yes. And then on my mother's side, I'm from Guinea-Bissau.
Okay. So what generation American are you then? Your first generation or were your parents born here?
No, they were born here. My grandfather was like, he was in the army. So they were like all of my uncles, everyone was born somewhere different. My mom was born on Fort Bragg. They lived in Germany for a bit. So there was a lot of bouncing around. But my parents were both born in America.
Okay. All right. Amazing. So you're excited about that? And did you actually watch the gold medal victory live, or how did you see it?
Yeah, like, cause I was like, okay, okay. I wanted to be supportive, and I was watching, and I was like, wait, no, like, why am I getting excited? Because even though I don't know too much about how the rules go, I was like, no, I think she's winning, even though I think it actually was pretty obvious. Maybe I just, yeah. And so she won. I'm like screaming, and then I see just all this on social media from like family and friends, and just everyone's just talking about it, celebrating it, and everyone's like, we keep having to remind people, Dominica,
Dominica.
Dominican.
How many people made up the Olympic contingent for the country of Dominica?
There wasn't too many. I don't think. Let me see. Cause yeah, we didn't have too many, but I'm really glad that everyone was seeming to be successful. So I'm trying to like I'm looking at their official Olympic page here. Uh, okay, just four. Yeah,
Four. Wow. So they were like one of those countries on the opening ceremony that they were on a boat with a bunch of other people.
probably yeah.
Either that or they had a little dinghy coming in. But yeah, it was. So I'm
See,
excited.
that's the cool thing about really about the Olympics is that when there's a country that like sorry, Bisa, but I had never heard of Dominica. Is it? I'm sorry, say it
Dominica.
again. Dominica. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I want to get it right. I had never heard of Dominica, so that's what makes it really really cool. Is somebody from a small country that maybe a lot of people haven't heard of, comes in and does well. Of course, you got the big countries like the United States and China and France, but when that happens, that's really cool.
All right, hold on. I got a breaking news. An update from the pool. Moments ago, the United States another goal, and they now lead Australia 3-1 late in the second quarter of the women's semifinals of the water polo. So, by the way, did you see Flava Flav is he's officially adopted the U.S. water polo teams? Like they are, and I saw that he actually was asked. He was asked whether or not he had any financial incentives with them, and he said they're getting a little something, something. So that's kind of cool.
I thought he was gonna say, "Yeah, boy."
Yeah, he may have said that too, but he said they're getting a little something, something, and they are. I just love that these old school rappers, Snoop Dogg and Flava Flav, are front and center with the Olympics. And last night I'm watching Mike Tirico do highlights with Snoop Dogg, Olympic highlights. Like that's
that's a national treasure right there. But I will say Snoop's in his own category, though. You can't. I mean, you're gonna put Snoop and Flava Flav in the same sentence because they're both doing stuff with the Olympics. But no, Snoop's on a whole nother level.
By the way, hold on, another update here. For people who may be listening to us internationally with Australian ties, I have to give equal time. Zoe Arancini from Australia moments ago has just scored for Australia. It is now 3-2, the United States and Australia in an all-out, drag-out fight going on in the pool right now. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on under the water in water polo. There's a lot of reaching and grabbing and kicking under the water that you're not seeing. That is not a sport for the faint of heart, Matt Fowler.
Absolutely, and as you know, Dave, because your son's involved in water polo and swimming, if you are in a competitive program with those sports, it's tough, man. You're up at like 5 a.m. And you got to go to practice, and sometimes it's 2-a-days, and man, it is tough for swimming and water polo for sure.
Hold on, let's bring in a water polo expert. Our resident water polo expert, Drew Goldfarb, joins us from Las Vegas. Drew, the United States and Australia right now in a barn burner in the pool in Australia, 3-2 USA. in the semifinal with 3 minutes to go and the women's water polo bracket. Your thoughts?
I mean, who doesn't love a good water polo competition? I know that that's the one event I've been focusing on this entire time during the Olympics. It's the reason I really enjoy the Summer Games. But yeah, I mean, you basically have said everything I could say about it, because I mean, you clearly just know exactly what the sport is all about.
Well, we've been talking more water polo on this show than probably any show in the history of shows. So yesterday it was great. USA. Australia in the men's bracket in the quarterfinals went to a shootout, and now Australia, with 2.5 minutes to go, they have got the ball and trying to tie up and it's just off the crossbar. Australia so close to tying it here in the second quarter. I'll keep you with live updates. Drew, seriously, did you see the finish to the France-Germany game, though, in men's basketball that just completed?
I did not see that finish. What bring me in the loop here.
Went down to the wire. France holds on in front of their home crowd to defeat Germany, and France will play the winner of Serbia and the United States for gold. By the way, I'm wondering, this is not a joke. I'm dead serious about this. What is the line on the Serbia-United States game? I may think about putting a couple of coins on that.
So I do have that right in front of me. Do you want to take a stab at how much you would have to wager to win $100? Let me see where you.
Oh, you mean you're talking about if I took the U.S. without laying any points?
Pure money line. Yep.
Pure money line. I would say U.S. is minus 680.
Well, no, minus 1,600.
Minus
So
1,600?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
man.
favored by 15.5 points.
I was gonna jump in there. Dang it! Yeah, I was gonna say minus 2,000 is what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Well, right between the two of you. Then Matt, you're getting great value at minus 1,600, and Dave avoided at all costs, because apparently the line for you to be comfortable, you'd have to get, basically halfway back to even money from there.
Well, I don't think I would take Serbia money line. Man, that number is intriguing though. 15 and a half.
15 and a half.
Like, on one hand, I feel like maybe the U.S. just comes out and, puts the pedal to the metal and blows them out. On the other hand, I feel like, you know what? They've got Nikola Jokic on their side, and, he's going to control the game, no doubt. And if they play a slow-down game and they can keep him in a half court, maybe they can keep it under 15 and a half.
So on those lines, along those lines, an interesting one, if that's kind of your thought process, is that Serbia might try to keep it as a lower scoring game to try and keep things tight. If you take Serbia plus 15.5 points and combine it with the under at 188.5, then you get a plus 251 payout right now at FanDuel. So if basically, because I kind of agree with you, if Serbia is going to keep it close, they're not going to keep it close at 120 to 110,
right.
They're going to have to keep the U.S. maybe below 100 points. And if they do that, the Serbia plus 15.5 is going to pay, and minus 188 or under 188.5 is also going to pay, and 2.5 to 1 is the odds if you combine those two. So in a game where it's minus 1,600 to take the U.S. to win, and even only minus 110 to give up 15.5 points. That might be a fun way to keep things going.
I think you just found a wager for me during our break. I think to plus 2.5. I like that because, listen, I'm not going to put big money on it, but you know what? Maybe I put $20 on it at plus 2.5 to win 50. That's that'd be a little fun.
What have you done to us, Drew? We're gonna put wagers in during the show. We're literally gonna be gambling during the show.
I mean, you're getting a live feedback on stuff, so I guess it's a perk of the job, maybe. I don't know.
Yes, exactly.
I mean,
exactly what it is.
I'm being facetious. I 100% have already done that many times during the show.
You put wagers in during the show on many occasions before.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. By the way, should we? Okay, let's take a timeout because we got to take our top of the hour break, and when we come back, we'll get into Drew Goldfarb is our sports betting analyst out of Vegas. We'll get his thoughts on the remaining things that are going on in the Olympics, plus the NFL preseason is underway. Is it a complete mission and lunacy to try and put any kind of money at all down on any NFL preseason games, or are there some prop bets or something that you can look for? So we'll get into all that, and we're going to have our Matt Fowler weekly sandwich scoreboard update. It's not looking pretty.
Can we not do this? Can we just not do it? I don't want to do it.
You know, you don't have to make a wager, Matt. You can just say, I'm out this week. I'm tapping out. But the second you do that, you're going to have to actually pay off the bets.
Okay. So I'm just gonna keep going in true degenerate fashion.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Yes, he's just digging himself a little bit deeper, Drew. All right, we're taking a timeout. More LFG after this.
I'm Cash Saroy, and this is the Collectible Network, the world's first streaming network devoted to sports cards and collectible content of all kinds.
You're live on the Collectible Network.
Have you ever been in a sports card break? Try it. It's easy. Whoa! Win an online auction for your team, then watch our live stream on Twitch or YouTube, and all of the cards from the team you won get shipped to you the next day. You're amazing.
Thank you for subscribing.
Follow the Collectible Network on social media right now. The Collectible Network, where you are, we are. This is One of One.
Y'all ready for this?
What a shot by Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore! Driving 40 yards!
He's a publicist's dream.
Happy Gilmore. He's been the talk of the course today with his huge drives and his amazing...
Hey, my girlfriend's dead, you know.
Don't worry, I won't tell anyone.
I've heard you've done some really interesting things here. Hey, who's that?
Shooter McGabb.
You killed a golf legend.
You may be right, but our ratings are up and we're attracting new youthful sponsors. I'm sorry, Shooter. There's nothing I can do.
Guess I'll have to take care of this myself.
He's just threatened by you.
Congratulations, murderer.
You know, I know what you're doing right now, and I don't like it.
Let's do it. Hey.
Okay, we'll go on a date.
You gotta give me a big, fat kiss. You gotta pretend that you like it, too.
How's that nice girlfriend of yours?
Oh, she's dead.
You killed Bob Barker.
I know that, and I'm sorry.
Kick him off the tour.
That might be extreme considering the fact that our ratings were the highest that we've ever had.
I was on this tour for one reason, money. But now I got a new reason.
You're in big trouble, though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. Listen, this call's about business.
Anybody I get close to dies. If I were you, I'd run.
Answer me! You got that, baby? That ain't more where I came from, yeah! Shoot on that, baby! Oh, my God!
Somebody closer! Get me out of here!
You're gonna die, clown! Stay still!
Happy Gilmore, anything!
Oh my God, power failure. It's getting very scary in here.
Are you ready? Let's do it. Live from the Tickscape Studios. Let's f***ing go.
Welcome back to LFG. Jim Kozimor is slated to make a cameo at some point here today, potentially. He didn't lock it in 100%. He's traveling today. But Dave Benz, Matt Fowler, our associate producer, Bisa, will rejoin us in a little bit. She'll have her regular trivia segment. And by the way, I have not rolled this nearly enough, so let me find it. I got to give Drew his proper intro that I always forget to roll. So here it is.
Vegas sets the numbers. He stays up all night dissecting them.
The Gambletron 2000 says the winner is...
LFG welcomes sports betting analyst Drew Goldfarb.
There you go. You know, my buddy Rob took the time to make that. It's well done, and I don't run that. I always finish the show, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to run the Drew Goldfarb intro. So there you go. You get the full service intro here today, Drew.
I appreciate that. I mean, so we always just jump right into a conversation. So I totally get where it's like, oh, the Open, like, you know, an hour and a half later. So
yeah.
But,
So
it's always nice to hear it.
So what is the latest in the world of sports betting right now in Las Vegas, Nevada?
I mean, we're in August. We got the Olympics going on, obviously. We're getting towards that time where we're going to have college football going on. The NFL's already in preseason. So we're kind of in that. If it wasn't for the Olympics, this would be like pure build-up, essentially, because it's August baseball. But the Olympics basically makes the calendar a bit more full this year compared with, the other 3 years when we're waiting for the summer games, because this is a huge event that's going on. And in addition to, waiting less than a month from now, we got some college football starting where, obviously, representing my alma mater. But
I've never associated Florida State with teal blue, but you got that going.
The men's basketball team's been wearing it for a while. It's a partnership with the Seminole Tribe of Florida, and a couple of the Nike schools across the country do it, where the shade of blue is meant to be essentially an acknowledgement. It's an important color for the culture of like the Seminole Tribe of Florida and the other schools that kind of do something similar. There was even a football jersey that was released last year just for fans in this color, which was very cool. The men's basketball team does wear the color on the court, usually I think once a season for the last 5 years or so. I forget if the football team is expected to try to do that at some point, but I really like the shade. It's nice to, blue's a favorite color of mine, which for FSU is not normally something you could get a lot of apparel in. So I was very happy to be able to find this one.
By the way, another update from the pool. They've now moved into the third quarter. They are midway through quarter number 3. And Australia, moments ago, another goal to close to within 5-4 of the United States. And Australia now getting the ball back. The similarities between water polo and basketball are striking to me, by the way, as we go back to water polo talk, because you run a lot of sets to get players open, and there is a shot clock, which is so there are similarities in the flow of the offense and the fact that you have to you have to shoot in a certain amount of time. Water polo is a sport that kind of moves along. How's the Florida State water polo team? They must have a water polo team.
I don't recall if I think my high school did, but I'm actually just gonna have to Google that. Does FSU have a water polo? It's a club sport.
Oh, it's a club sport.
Yeah, so it's one of the FSU's club sports, which, at least on the men's side, there is the women's team won the 2023 and 2024 Southeast Regional Championships.
Okay.
Well, they play at the old Leach Center. That's fun.
Nice.
Right. I did not know that about my alma mater. So another thing to celebrate with another win, in addition to having a great baseball program, a great softball program, one of the best women's soccer programs in the country, and a football program that, if they hadn't cheated us out of it, might have had a fourth national championship this past season.
So let's get back to the Olympics and the gambling world of the Olympics. What is are there any remaining, aside from like the men's and women's basketball? Which, if men's basketball is minus 2,000, I'm going to guess women's basketball is probably like minus 5,000 for whoever they're playing, because they've won 59 in a row. Are there any interesting wagers on anything that have caught your attention that remain with the Olympic Games for the gambling aficionados out there?
So on the women's side, the USA is a minus 3,500 favorite against Australia. They're favored by 17.5 points. Even beyond the men's one. There are still like some most gold medals bets, but I mean, at this point, those are kind of, almost locked down. The US is minus 850 to lead all nations in total gold medals this year. China's second at plus 470, and everybody else is just about mathematically eliminated from that. If you're trying to bet at this point and you're trying to get in this late in the games, you're going to have to be creative, like we were talking about Serbia plus 15.5 and under 188.5 points. Taking the U.S. to win gold is minus 670 in the men's basketball thing. It's too late to take that wager. If you want to take anybody but the U.S. at plus 430, okay. But otherwise, you're, at this point in the game, if you didn't get your money in, that's you can have some fun with it, but it's going to be really hard to find value unless you're just going against favorites right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find right now, actually. Okay, here we go. I got Olympic basketball matches, but I got nothing coming up for me. So I'll have to. I don't know why nothing is coming up. I'll have to check that a little bit later. That's very disappointing. I was thinking I would like to put a little. I've got big three. I can wager the big three. You got any thoughts on the big three?
I have not seen that. What wager are we talking about with that one?
Well, I've got some money line bets between Enemies and Three's Company and Tri-State against Bivouac. I don't even know the teams for the big three, but those are the teams that are coming up for the big three. If I wanted to wager on the big three.
I mean, yeah, it's. I feel like when you're talking about that kind of play, it's. I guess you have fewer players that you have to be like super familiar with in order to kind of get a feel for what you can expect out of them. But I mean, yeah, that kind of thing. If that's where your point of knowledge comes from, is a tournament like that, you could probably get better odds than you would expect because so few people are going to be, at least comparatively speaking, betting on something like that versus say the men's Olympic gold medal game.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I found it now. I've got USA and Serbia. All right. I've got so plus 15.5, and I've gotten an over-under of 188.5.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if I take that and a parlay, let's see what if the odd they're giving me the same odds as you say. Oh. Okay. Hold on. It's saying. Why is it not allow? It's not allowing me to. For some reason, it's not wanting me to be able to make a parlay on that, which is not cool. So I'm not liking that at all. Why is it not letting me make a parlay? It's not. No, it's not letting me do it. That's what I get for trying to be an aficionado of gambling while on air. Speaking of that, let's get into real quick while you are here, Drew. Let's get back to our. Here we go. Let's get into our imaging sounds with our favorite segment.
What's a weekend of sports without a little action? And no one craves the action more than gambling degenerate aficionado Matt Fowler. How many sandwiches will he lose this week? It's time for another edition of Being Matt's Bookie.
So, Matt, I'm going to let you phone a friend this week. And I'm going to let you see if Drew wants to give you some advice because I'm feeling a little bit bad for you. I got to be honest. Let's first of all check the scoreboard.
Sandwich scoreboard update.
So Matt Fowler lost again last week, and Drew, at this point, he owes Jim Kozimor 24 sandwiches. And he owes me 30 sandwiches. And that's not counting the fact that we have two 100 sandwich bets outstanding, which neither of which is looking favorable for Matt. One of which is he's got 100 sandwiches on the line in which he needs RFK to win the election. And then he also has 100 sandwiches on the line as to whether or not Donald Trump will go to prison. So, I would say neither of those is looking.
Now, wait a minute.
Wait.
We have to clarify on one of those. Hang on. So, Donald Trump going to prison was just like, is he going to literally spend a second in a jail cell? Like, maybe even for a photo op that would still qualify.
Is he going
for
to
that?
get sentenced to jail? That was the bet. Is he going to get sentenced to jail?
And I don't know where the sentencing is at this point.
Sentencing is coming up in September.
Okay, well, so there's a possibility there, and
So-
you know, after Biden dropped out, there might have been a possibility that the Democrats would have tapped RFK. But anyway,
Hold on, a quick update from the pool. Now 6-6. Wondering if we can get some action on that still. Some live betting action going on with USA, Australia, and women's water polo.
Drew's sitting here like, what the hell have I gotten myself into with this? What are
I'm
you
just
guys
trying
doing?
to process the sentence. I thought maybe the Democrats would tap RFK.
Well, you know what? They haven't really, I'm not getting political here, but they haven't really been too smart with a lot of the choices, as the same thing with the other party, too. So we'll see.
I mean, there's a difference between like a choice where you're like, is that what I would do? And a choice like being like, hey, you know that kooky third candidate that's just making like waves with every story he tells about leaving a dead bear in Central Park or, about how a worm ate part of his brain and is still in there or something. Like, there's a difference between like being like, that guy is going to be a major party candidate for presidency and like not going with option A if that was your
would it really shock anyone based on anything at this point? I mean, really? Like, you know?
Yes, with the tickets the way they are, it would absolutely shock me if we ended up with Trump RFK or Harris RFK or something like that. That would 100% shock me if either party did that.
I just wish, Drew, when we were on the show, and I don't know if you were on when I said it, but I at that time, by the way, Bisa, if you could monitor our live feed and let me know what's going on. I'm getting some feedback from Emily that our audio does not sound good on the stream. So, Bisa, if you could check the stream and let me know what's going on with the audio, because it sounds great to me, and you guys are hearing everything as well, I'm guessing. So, I'm not sure what is going on with that, but we'll look into that. But Drew, when you may have been with us when I said it, but and it's already half come to fruition. The other half is probably not going to happen. I get that, but crazier things have happened. When I said on the show like 2 months ago, boy, I wonder if I could get odds on neither Trump nor Biden even being on the ticket when we get to November. And like we're halfway home on that.
Well,
I'm thinking at that time I could have probably gotten like at least 1,000 to 1, and I wouldn't have minded putting $100 on that.
There was a week where we nearly lost both of them, like in a 48-hour stretch, because you had the attempt at the rally, and then you had Biden had COVID. Like you literally like nearly had that within like 4 days of one another, or 3 days, whatever that was.
Right, and we're halfway there right now. So I mean, it's that would be interesting. By the way, USA, I was trying to get a wager in on this women's water polo, and they were -0.5, and now they've just scored and they're -1.5. And I'm thinking I may take Australia +1.5 here. I think this is going to go right down to the wire. Let's see. What's the minimum bet I can make here? I got Australia +1.5. Is it going to go through?
Drew, what I like is that Dave said, Oh! Did you make your bet?
I've got Australia +1.5 for $20.
All right, good for you, degenerate. Cool. So
how many sandwiches though? That's the real.
So we need to get to the real thing here, Matt. What are you going to do to break out of this funk that you're in?
Oh, I'm going to take the over on the Rockies game because it's Colorado. I don't really care what the over is. I'm taking it. It's 10.5, I think.
Okay, and who are they playing?
Mets.
So you're taking Colorado and the Mets. You're taking Colorado and the Mets. You're taking the over 10.5 tonight, and it's in Colorado.
Yeah.
And you're just doing that as a straight bet. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many sandwiches are you putting on the line here?
22.
22 sandwiches.
Great number.
Drew, your thoughts?
So Austin Gomber is the pitcher for the Rockies on this. He is an oddity this season, where his ERA is actually 1.5 worse away from Coors Field. But the Mets have been, they basically since Grimace throughout that first pitch, they've been the team that you kind of would have expected out of them. So it's an over at Coors Field. Is the line 10.5 or is it 11.5?
I saw 10.5.
What are you seeing, Drew?
Well, I was just curious. I was more looking into their actual numbers, but yeah, the over 10.5 right now is -105. I mean, it's always a fair assumption that a game at Coors Field is going to go over. Yeah, I mean, I never would suggest that like to take an under for a game at Coors Field. Austin Gomber typically this season has a better ERA pitching at home than he does on the road. This season, his numbers are essentially, at least when it comes to ERA and WHIP, are pretty well in line with what he's done in his career. And last year, he had a much worse ERA at home, 7 runs per 9 compared with 3.7 on the road. So that's a decent option. I always, like taking a run line wager is always a tricky thing for me. Coors Field is one of the ones I feel comfortable with that, but the Mets -1.5 is only -102. So if you're not getting above even money, looking elsewhere is a decent strategy when it comes to that.
All right, so Matt, you're betting 22 sandwiches to win 20 because you're taking the favorite.
Yes, the favorite. Well, wait. Is the over -110, -115, -120?